Hi, everyone.
Hi, James.
Thank you. Welcome to BeerThralls Presents the Beer Protocol. I'm James. I'm drinking the last of the chocolate mint stout by Guinness. I found another one in the back of the fridge. It's still good.
I found it also in the back of the fridge when we were there at your house late last week, and I left it there for you, James.
Yeah,
I
if
knew
you had,
you would
if you
want
had,
it.
if you had been like, "Hey, James, look what I found," I would have killed you.
I mean, if
Uh,
I could have drinking it, I would have done it to you.
This is Jacob. I am drinking a rum, of which there will be more detail to come.
I'm Matt. I'm drinking the same rum. It's called 1880 something or other. I didn't bring up the bottle, but I brought up the bottle of tequila I'll be drinking later. This.
I was going to say the tequila
Barely
has
seen.
disappeared
Yeah.
in your green screen
Good job,
or in your replacement. Please put it down. It's destroying you. I
gentlemen.
can't
Tink.
think.
All right, we're gonna talk about the Juggernaut, bitch.
Okay, fine. I'm turning off the background.
I mean, you do you, boo. All right, today we want to talk about
No,
Kane Marco,
I like the
aka
fact
the Juggernaut.
I like the fact that you're in an '80s roller rink.
Hellscape. Before we get into it, as we've done in the past, every time Matt loses connection, we drink. So don't go too hard too early, James.
I mean, we think we fixed the problem, so
I think I fixed the problem.
Juggernaut is a new model, currently affiliated only with Brotherhood. No criminal syndicate freebies for all of
Yeah,
you.
no one likes them.
I mean, kind of a
Juggernaut
dick.
stands tall as a 5-threat model with 8 stamina, a short move, size 4. He has 4 physical defense, 3 energy defense, and 5 mystic defense. So, what do we know about Juggernaut just from his basic stat line? He is a large boy. He is very large base, largest base size.
He's a biggie.
So his short movement means he can still cover a good chunk of board space. So don't put your guard down and assume you can push him out of scenario and bully him because he's only a short mover like Crossbones, for example. Juggernaut is going to cover a lot more space than you might realize. So looking into his basic strike, it is in fact just strike.
Yeah.
A range 2 physical attack, 5 dice, 0 cost. After this attack is resolved, character gains damage equal Character gains power equal to the damage dealt, and then on a wild push before damage is dealt, this character may push the target character away short.
Eh.
So,
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna. His
It's
attacks.
momentarily.
His attacks are basically until you start adding powers. So we're not even
So-
gonna go real deep into it. It's a
I
strike.
want to point out at least one thing about this push is if you've seen the recent erratas to a lot of things, there are size limitations on what physical attacks can push. Juggernaut does not have a size limitation, so you can push anything up to and including Dormammu with his wild push.
Yep.
That does give him utility. So it's good to bear in mind that he will absolutely run up and punch things off a point. His spender is I'm the Juggernaut.
Bitch.
I tried to cough over it. It's a family program for like
Is it?
one family that washes together. Range 2, 7 dice, 4
Feel sorry
cost
for that family.
spender. On a wild rush, after this attack is resolved, if it is during this character's activation, this character may immediately use the Nothing Stops the Juggernaut superpower without paying the energy cost. So let's talk about Nothing Stops the Juggernaut.
Oh god, it's so long.
Nothing Stops the Juggernaut is
Do
a
you wanna
superpower
Do you want us to
costing
give a
3.
summary?
No, because there's important stuff here. First things first, this character is pushed short. So, the Juggernaut's controller controls the direction of the push. It can be in any direction. It's essentially his same movement stick, so all the things we said before apply. He does not stop its movement if it contacts a size 3 or smaller interactive terrain feature. Instead, the contacted terrain feature is destroyed, that this character continues being pushed. If this character contacts one or more other characters, one contacted character suffers 1 damage. Then this character stops as normal. The character can be damaged by the superpower only once per turn. If this character has the stagger special condition, it loses it. So,
I have a question.
I have an answer.
yeah.
Never mind. I just answered it.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
Um,
I don't worry about informing other people. It's
So-
the
fine.
rule.
So no, my question is your first action has to get rid of stagger, but this isn't an action, so you could do this prior to stagger, and then it gets rid of stagger, so we're fine.
Correct. Same reason Blade is able to use his 1-cost shake to just get rid of anything, including stagger.
Which is bullshit.
So it is important to note, he's not immune to stagger. That means you cannot go into, like, in the beginning of the round, you cannot do the Juggernaut to get this for free. You have to pay the 3 power, do his little move, and then you shake the stagger, and then you can go into your normal activation.
It is weird. I don't think there's anything in the game preventing you from shaking stagger, but it is technically not a shake. It
It
says
is
he
technically
loses
not
the
a shake.
stagger
Yeah, he's
condition.
technically not a shake, yes. So you could, if you don't have the power, you still have to shake stagger on the
Stagger.
first turn, but if you have 3 power, yeah, you might as well just go ahead and use his power.
Yeah.
Wait, can you do this multiple times in a turn?
You can,
doesn't
as long as
say-
you have the power.
Yeah, it doesn't say you can't.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Juggernaut. So we're gonna do a how do you deal with Juggernaut
Yeah.
discussion. Spoiler alert: you don't deal with Juggernaut by just moving him to one side of the board and ignoring him. He's coming back.
He's coming back.
Like Juggernaut might be one of the most mobile, large base characters in the game. It's insane. It's tons of fun. People are loving it. Okay, so I know someone in our pre-game discussion asked, "Why would I care about blowing up terrain with this?" One of the
Especially when
ways.
you have like throws and other things you could do with it.
Mhm. Well, for starters, this will blow up multiple terrain pieces, not just the first one you hit. So if your opponent, if for whatever reason, like most boards aren't going to have that many terrain pieces in close contact, but if your opponent is counting on a building to block line of sight, for example, with a crucial objective, or if they are simply trying to use shenanigans,
Hiding behind a car.
or if your opponent is bringing lots of throwers like Scarlet Witch, Magneto, an enemy Hulk, and you would like to deny them good terrain to throw, you can just stampede around the center of the table and clobber people with it. So it's terrain denial. I've often seen people throw pieces of terrain simply to get rid of them, get them off the table. I have one memorable moment during our charity event where someone picked up a train and threw it at a kiosk simply to remove both pieces of terrain so Magneto couldn't throw it.
Yep.
Juggernaut does that a little simpler and gives you additional damage that ignores defenses and other bypasses. So a lot of times what you're going to try to do with a throw is you're trying to finish a model off. You may be using it as an opener, but I've seen it just as often used to be like, I came up like one short, desperation time, I'm going to throw a lamppost or a trash can to try to sneak that one damage through. And so this gives Juggernaut essentially what is the same purpose of that move, but just a guaranteed along with additional movement and positioning.
Also to note, if you collide with, it says other character, so you could accidentally hurt your own guys.
Yep. So, but again, you have full control of the
You have
push.
full control.
So,
It's just there. Yeah.
something that comes up really often is I've heard people discussing in our local meta is how would you contact multiple enemy characters at the same time?
He's a huge base.
It's more just like, don't you stop when you hit the first one? And people get a little confused about it. So just clarification, move until you hit someone. If you're touching multiple bases at once, then you can just choose one of them.
Right.
So it's move some pieces around the board, find a scenario where you can do it. Trust me, that makes sense. Last thing I'll mention about nothing stops the Juggernaut. Second to last thing. Second to last thing, he is pushed. He does not advance.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some specific rulings, including one on Juggernaut's card, but also certain things like Craven.
Goblins.
Goblin affects that trigger when an enemy ends their movement.
Mhm.
Like Hawkeye, for example, has, I think, a trick counter shot. A number of other things are based on ending a movement. And since this is a push, it technically kind of bypasses a number of things. So that's going to be case by case, but just be aware of it. All right. The last thing I'm going to mention is now that we've seen the effect of Nothing Stops the Juggernaut, his spender giving you potentially a free use of it on a wild is a nice bit of action economy. It is a 4-cost spender that potentially gives you a 3-cost superpower for free. That is a decent upswing in efficiency. So honestly, I like it a lot. It's pretty good.
It's almost like a hit and run.
Yeah, preferably though you
But
end your phase
better.
touching someone else.
It was definitely better.
So it's a hit and hit.
It's a hit, push, hit. Yeah, it's just a lot of
hit,
stuff.
push into them deeper.
Yeah.
It's
we
like a
have
weird charge.
we have nice punch.
It's a nice punch. For 1 power, if this character would suffer damage, it could use the superpower to reduce the amount of damage suffered by 1. Super
Does
simple. Pay 1 power, reduce damage. There is no minimum.
no minimum.
It can be reduced to 0. As a quick reminder, you can only use a reactive superpower once per triggering instance. So if you're taking 2 damage, you cannot spend 2 power to reduce it to 0. You can only use Nice Punch once per instance. However, would suffer damage. It does not have any other criteria. It's just anytime you would suffer damage. Did you roll poorly for a crisis that's going to damage you if you rolled a skull? Juggernaut says no.
Yeah.
Are you in Gamma Shelter? Juggernaut says lol, no. Any game effect from any team that would cause you damage, Juggernaut can shrug off. And since a lot of those things come in just 1 damage chunks, that's incredibly good.
Hey, Jake, he's got a helmet.
He does have a helmet. This character cannot be pushed or advanced by the special effects of enemy mystic attacks or enemy superpowers. So, very important distinction. Cannot be pushed or advanced. He can still be pushed by physical attacks or energy attacks with push. In general, those have a size requirement, and at size 4, Juggernaut is usually too big unless it's another heavy hitter like Hulkbuster, an enemy Juggernaut, or Hulk. He is going to be relatively safe for most pushes.
Yep.
However, what is not on here and is often confused is places. Placement effects will absolutely still work on Juggernaut, no problem. Things like Sorcerer Supreme Strange's Scalpel of Doctor Strange, where he just teleports someone, Thanos' teleport, all still work on Juggernaut. So be cautious about that. You can still be yanked out of position and potentially kidnapped, or just thrown off the point in a direction you don't want to be in. So this is a great security buffer. It is not, however, an end-all be-all. So just be aware.
Real quick.
Finally, Unstoppable.
He's immune to stun, so we'll just get that out of the way. Now, let's talk about the important one. I just wanted to get immunity stun out of the way.
Okay. Unstoppable Momentum, a passive. Arguably the passive that makes Juggernaut work. After this character resolves a move action during its activation, it gains 2 power. The next attack made by this character, this activation adds 3 dice to the attack roll. This character can be affected by the superpower only once per turn. So, Juggernaut's relatively average attacks suddenly become insanely powerful if he just moves first. His 5 dice builder goes from 5 to 8, which is potentially a lot of power gain on top of the 2 he already got for moving. And I'm the Juggernaut becomes a 10 dice base attack. The downside of both is they're only range 2. However, you already are probably going to be moving anyway. And with just the amount of power he generates on his own, moving guarantees you enough power to use Nothing Stops the Juggernaut. So you should, in most cases, be able to close within range 2 of something, because you have your own movement plus a push short.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you move 0
Yeah.
as an action?
Yes.
Basically, you just say, I'm spending a move action, and like, cool, here's power and extra damage dice.
Because you can always just fake it and just be like, I moved a nano inch and just think, like just.
But what if you had other characters base to base with them? Like but
You can move through other
you
characters.
tec-
Well, I know.
yeah, you could still technically say you're moving 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you disappointed? That's awesome.
But yeah, you can. It's still.
I'm
it's
not
still
the
an
one playing
action.
Juggernaut though.
You
It's
could
still,
be.
You could be. It's
So
amazing. This is amazing.
it's a great power. So the big question I think a lot of people are going to have is it better to move and strike or strike twice?
Depends
If
on
you're
the situation.
already within range 2 of somebody. And my thought on that is I actually I'd have to look at the dice math, but it depends on what you want.
Eh,
I'd almost say move and strike is going to be more impactful and effective than just attacking twice.
I would even say that. So here's the thing. I wouldn't even care about the strike. Hear me out. You're gaining
We have to.
two. You're gaining two on the momentum. Okay. You already start with one. So if you're going to use the move, get extra dice anyway, I would go ahead, do the unstoppable momentum, uh, do I'm the Juggernaut. Um,
Get 10 dice.
That's not guaranteed since
not
it
it's
costs
not
more.
guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Well, actually, technically, you still need an extra power in there somewhere.
Right. Now,
Um,
granted, if you have some from a previous turn, you're good to roll. Like, yeah, keep going,
but
James.
but I would say do that. Do unstoppable momentum. Do the I'm the Juggernaut, and hopefully get into nothing stops the Juggernaut. So you have basically one action causing multiple damage and multiple pushes and moves.
Yeah, so looking at that, Juggernaut's strength on his healthy side, he actually does have a really substantial difference on his injured side. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But Juggernaut's strength on his healthy side is he is a big base, an incredibly mobile big base, to the point where he actually will not be staying still most rounds of the game. So he's going to be getting onto a point. He's going to be chasing extracts. Having this ability to kind of bully the table and chase after faster models who thought they were far enough away. Like stealth models who think they're far enough away from Juggernaut could find out real fast they're not. And the surprise factor of even if nothing else, an 8 dice physical attack with his strike
Mm-hmm.
is in spender territory for a vast majority of characters. And even if you're only getting the one attack, a spiked 8 dice will take out a 2, a 3, and even some 4 threat models in one go. So it is a dice game, but that is a significant threat to be putting out only once per turn, as
Mm-hmm.
well as the potential for power generation. So you can have the turn you talked about, James, on the following round of having I'm of move into unstoppable momentum. I'm not the Juggernaut. Nothing stops the Juggernaut. See where you're at. Do it again with another nothing stops the Juggernaut, and just keep going.
Well, hold on. You still have to do a move.
So move.
So move is an
I'm the
action. The
Juggernaut.
attack is the action. Possibly doing nothing stops the Juggernaut.
And then do nothing stops Juggernaut again if you have enough power.
That is true. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So the only thing I
that's
really wish that Juggernaut had was a throw.
oh well, let's go look at his injured side. Once Juggernaut is
Ah,
injured, he still has 8 stamina. He has 4 physical, 3 energy, 2 mystic defense.
he lost his
His
helmet.
Yeah, it's true. Both the art, which honestly, kudos to Atomic Mass Games
Mm-hmm.
for having Juggernaut's injured art not have his helmet, so it's a lot easier to remember that he doesn't have
Doesn't
the
have
helmet
helmet.
special rule anymore. Mm,
But
mm, Chef's kiss. He now gains the Avatar of Sidorak, a cost 3 superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character, both size 3 or less and within range 2, and throw it medium. So, good solid throw.
Yeet.
Um, I think it's actually kind of impressive. His Mystic defense change notwithstanding, Juggernaut still has 8 stamina on his injured side.
Yeah.
With as durable and tough to bring down as he is on his healthy side, having just the exact same amount of stamina
yeah,
is kind of nuts. He is tanky. I would not be surprised if Juggernaut just lasts for a whole game,
Oh yeah.
unless he is
Absolutely.
burned and focus fired.
16 total health is nothing to sneeze at.
I mean, I'd actually probably rate Juggernaut as being slightly sturdier than Hulkbuster, but it's probably close enough that it's not worth the difference. I think Hulkbuster has 1 more stamina, but all of his defense is going to 2 on his injured side. Means kind of like Modoc. Once he's there, he's going down again pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, the only advantage this has over Hulkbuster is that he does have a day's side.
yeah.
Okay, so where do I land at with Juggernaut? Juggernaut is a really interesting and very dynamic piece, and by dynamic I mean he is going to be consistently changing board state when he activates,
Mhm.
which is exactly what you want for a 5-threat model. Because even if Juggernaut doesn't daze or knock someone out, he can get onto a point. He can catch up and take an extract. He can knock someone out, and range 2 with the size of his base means whoever he reaches with his attacks, he will be close enough to pick up any extract tokens they dropped.
Mhm.
So he's going to be. um,
He's kind of an all-around. Like, okay,
He's
so the only
he's
thing I would
just a good
say,
model.
he's not an
Yeah.
objective runner.
I was just thinking about it. That's why I hesitated.
Like,
Because he has so much mobility
I still
that
though you
he could
don't.
probably truck from one end of the board to the other over a couple of rounds.
The only thing I would, no. So
But you almost
You-
don't want him to, because
you
that's
don't.
5 points to run around to do nothing.
You kind of want Toad to like escort him. He punches somebody so hard they explode into objectives, and then he picks up the objective, and Toad goes thanks and just grabs it and runs away.
Yeah.
While Juggernaut continues to do his insanity.
I think Juggernaut might be my personal favorite runner for Wakandan Herbs. Because he's just going to truck it through the middle of the board and not give a single damn.
Do you get points every single turn for having the herbs in the basket?
Yep.
But you're missing out on so much extra damage to have him run back. Like, once again, just get Toad to grab it and run.
Oh, my point
I
being,
want
though,
him
is that
on hammers.
he's too sturdy to kill. Also, fun fact, if you're thinking about it, don't forget that mobility is not always a straight line. There's
That is true.
nothing saying his mobility has to be always in the same direction. You can move to trigger unstoppable momentum, leave the point, clobber an idiot in the head, or at another point. Don't forget, with his base size and his short on that giant base, his range 2 is pretty big.
That
So
Yeah, it's about a
I-
log.
it wouldn't surprise. I'd have to get out my measuring sticks and the model and do some quick math, but I would estimate that with his movement plus range 2 hit, he probably can easily reach anything within range 3 of his starting position every round.
yeah. I would
Um,
say he's kind of a
I would say it's probably closer to in between range 4 and 5, actually.
So what I was going to say is he goes out, clobbers some fool, and then uses Nothing Stops the Juggernaut to just push himself back.
Mhm.
So now he's contesting the point he started on.
Yeah, don't fall into the Hulk trap. He still only has 8. And 3 energy. That's still within some dangerous territory. Don't run him out. Be like, oh, he can survive anything, because next thing you know, he's on his day's side.
Although, to be fair, should you use Nice Punch anytime you can? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I would actually be perfectly willing to use Nice Punch a bunch of times to reduce damage rather than save up for I'm the Juggernaut attack on his next activation, because dice are really fickle, but reducing damage is forever.
Now,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea to do. Is spend your action to do the move, do a strike to basically build up a bunch of energy. So now he becomes super, super tanky, where he can just start tossing energy out to do Nice Punch.
Yeah.
And then the next turn, start spending all that energy again to rinse, repeat.
Yeah, like Juggernaut is super. I feel like Juggernaut is deceptively simple to run, where he seems like, oh, he got all these movement tricks. And like, no, just use him to bully the table a lot. He just does what he does extremely well.
I mean, I could very much see put him on the center point. His base is so large, no one else can get within one of it. So now no one's contesting it.
I'm not sure if that's feasible. Now you could like slightly canter angle so he's leaning forward, and your opponent would have to literally go around him or have
Yeah.
enough movement to get past him. But I don't think you can sit on the point and block and like be centered on the objective and block range
You
1.
really can't, because the way the sizes are, if you basically touching up against him, you're still technically on. You're at that point. But
his
the
base
thing
isn't
is,
that big.
you're right. If you just move like a little bit forward, like you can basically cut off the entire area. Now, the other thing I would possibly do is if you have a point that's hiding behind a bunch of an objective that's hiding behind a bunch of like terrain. Like first turn, have Juggernaut go to like the middle, kind of hang out. Then use his I charge in, like oh sure I'm pushing myself short, which is still like this on the friggin' board, and destroy like walls and terrain that people are hiding behind, and have him right in the middle of everything as the rest of your team kind of comes up. Use him as a huge distraction.
Actually, that, or if you're running with Magneto, I know it's cost expensive.
Yes.
You just put down his 2 terrain pieces right behind him. Now you can't get on the point.
Does Magneto get power for having his stuff destroyed, or if he destroys it?
Anytime terrain is destroyed on anyone's turn, Magneto gets power.
There you
Nope.
go.
If you're using
That's
his
what he's
leadership.
for, right there.
I
And
mean,
then
there's a reason Juggernaut is in Brotherhood, guys. Like
Yeah.
very much, he synergizes super well with Magneto.
yeah, he just keeps getting fed. So they do what Jake said. Walk on out, punch, push back, destroy those. He now gets his energy. Nice punch. And he just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
So,
It's good.
what cards does he have?
So he has 2 tactic cards. Technically, he comes with 3 because he's in a box by himself. The one that doesn't really matter for him is Versatile Strategy, which lets you switch active leaderships in the middle of a game if you
That's
have
actually
2
still really
leaders on the
nice.
table. It's a nice card. He also has Do You Know Who I Am? Juggernaut
No.
spends 3 to choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character size 4 or less and throw it long.
Holy
So
God!
So he spends 3 for an upgraded version of his injured throw. Now, what I
Yep.
like about this being a tactic card is remember, it can be done during someone else's activation. It does not have to be during Juggernaut's activation. So, did Magneto not finish someone off he really needed down? Play Juggernaut's throw and just yeet something. Is it Mystique's turn and you're trying to take out Dr. Voodoo while he can't bring Daniel back to buff his dodge? Juggernaut throws a skyscraper at him.
Fuck.
It's a good card.
That's a great card if you're running Juggernaut.
The other card, Juggernaut specific, is Making a Ruckus. Whenever another allied character within 3 of an allied Juggernaut is targeted by an attack, Juggernaut may spend 3 power to play this card. After the attack is resolved, Juggernaut can advance short towards the attacking character and may make a strike targeting it. Kind of similar to Heroes for Hire, the Luke Cage, and Iron
Wait,
Fist.
when does that activate?
It's a reactive when another allied character within 3 of Juggernaut is targeted.
So, if I push somebody outside of their range, does that kill their attack?
It is targeted, so I think it's too late by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to double check the
'cause-
timing. Additionally, with other timing shenanigans, because it's not Juggernaut's activation, it's not a move action.
Mhm.
So Juggernaut will not trigger Unstoppable Momentum. So you've just got his normal 5 dice strike, wild push. We'd have to check the timing if see if you can interrupt an attack this way.
I mean, you could technically daze somebody.
I mean,
That'll
yeah,
interrupt
that would
it.
do it.
But then the question is, do you finish the attack even though the person is now dazed?
Well, probably.
No.
I don't know.
When you're dazed, your attack ends immediately. See certain situations when doing area of effect attacks.
I would probably wouldn't take that card. I would definitely take the other one. I probably would not take this one.
Yeah. Making a ruckus is interesting, but not having Juggernaut's full offense behind it, it's not nearly as good as
I
Do You
mean,
Know
a
Who I Am?
long throw off of his size base is just the board.
Mhm.
So
Don't forget, he can throw a size 4 character. Throw Hulk at somebody.
oh shit.
Throw Hulk Buster at somebody.
just oh. See Hulk didn't do a lot of damage there. Boom.
It's like, hey, do you need this person not on that point anymore contesting? Yeet them.
Even better if they already activated and can't get back.
That's amazing. All right. Well, any final thoughts on Juggernaut?
Everyone seems to be having a ton of fun with him. Play him.
Yeah. He's on every table.
God, I'm trying to figure out how he's going to fit into like Criminal Syndicate, but
he's not. He's too expensive.
He's not. I want the multiple people. I mean, it is nice having like an 8 health just monstrosity sitting on the point going, I count as 2.
Well, you already do. It's called Kingpin.
I say, do you want 2 Kingpins? I feel like this is how you get 2 Kingpins.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway,
So
we have been the Beer Protocol. This has been our discussion about Juggernaut. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
I'm out.
Unheard of.
It's Guinness. I'm Irish. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Game off.
Bye, game off. Bye. Bye.